lot of people are saying The Last of Us on HBO is the best video game adaptation of all time. Do we agree with that? Let's go. What's going on, guys and gals, and welcome to Good Real Hunting. Today we are doing a review of the series The Last of Us on HBO. This was our Patreon pick for April, actually. A little bit late on it, but that's okay. This is what our Patreons voted for us to do this month as our Patreon video. And we're going to be having some fun with it. It's a little overdue, but we're here ready to rock.
Dude, absolutely. I was so looking forward to freaking diving into this show. I kind of watched the first couple episodes, but I took a very long hiatus for some reason because my mind's one of those minds that I see something else to do. I'm going to do that real quick, and I'll just get back to this when I get to it. But thank you, Patreons, for allowing us to do this particular one that gets my butt back into this series, and I'm so glad I watched it, man. I'm ready to talk about it.
Let's do it. We will be talking spoilers today, Brady.
Yeah, so if you have not seen The Last of Us, go to HBO Max. That's where all of Season 1 is. All the 9 awesome episodes are. Go watch it. Come right back here so you can hear our thoughts about this series.
Okay, so just so the people know where we're coming from, I played this game probably about 10 years ago. I can't remember when it came out, but it wasn't long after it came out. I haven't played it since. I remembered a lot of things, didn't remember a lot of things too. Brett, you haven't played it? You've watched through it, or?
I have not played any of the games. I watched a little bit of the games, so I knew about the first part of it, but the rest of the game series, I had no idea. So this is going to be interesting. You're going to get thoughts of someone who played the game versus someone who has not played the game.
The first episode really, I thought was really a tremendous job of replicating the game. It really much felt like that. Towards the end, this is when everything kind of started to set up. They did a really cool thing at the beginning where they're talking about, they had that little news thing or whatever where they're talking about this fungus, kind of really intriguing, kind of a different style of zombie per se that we haven't seen before, a little bit more realistic actually. So that was kind of cool and made things feel creepy. I like that. And then as the episode went on, and shit was starting to hit the fan, there was a lot of creepy stuff in this, man. I remember at one point the cookie lady next door was over there smiling in the background at the daughter there. That was really scary. She was out of focus. It was terrifying, man.
Dude, absolutely terrifying. So they did a great job setting up the foundation of what this show is exactly going to be in terms of tone and atmosphere. And I thought they did a brilliant job. And not only that, they did a brilliant job introducing our main character, played by the one and only sexiest man alive, Pedro Pascal. Just storming the internet like freaking crazy, man. But you know what? He deserves it, man, because he does such a great job playing Joel, whatever, however you want to pronounce it. I know, I'm messing. It's Joel. So they did a fantastic job with his character in this series from him. And I want to throw out there, I definitely love the fungus side of going into this different direction, because I really didn't get zombie vibes. I kind of got the crazies, because that's how they kind of start out, and then they mutate into a creature. But I've never really honestly got a zombie vibe to them, so that's why I appreciate them going different versus just going straight out zombie.
Yeah, it was fresh, man, for sure. It was a good vibe, and those were creepy.
And they run fast.
Game.
They run fast too, and that's what always makes it scarier. It
really kind of played out the same as a lot of these origin zombie stories play out, but it did very much feel like the opening of that game, especially when you're in the back of the truck and you're in Tessa's point of view, and which, by the way, they did a good job of setting up Tess in this thing. She only had one episode to kind of drive that relationship home, so you can kind of care what happens at the end when she gets shot, and you do. They did a good job with that. But when she's in the back of that truck and they're driving around trying to figure out where to go, plays out perfectly like the video game. It really brought me right back to it, and I hadn't played it in 10 years, so it was really well done.
It's when an officer was or a security person was stopping Joel and Tessa, his daughter. They were the security person shot at him because the security person thought that they were infected. After that, and then we saw where Tessa actually got shot. Dude, that was emotional as hell.
It was, man. Yeah, like I just said, that was really well done, and they made you care. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how they ended it. The second episode, we get introduction to Ellie and stuff. It's kind of a setup, but the next big episode is part 3, which was long time. That's when we get our boy Ron Swanson in, the dude that's setting up the house, the shelter essentially out of the house. Yeah. He's been there forever. He gets the other dude that shows up. that they ended up falling in love. It was a really good story. They took a very small part of the video game, they expanded upon it, and made probably one of the better episodes in this series. Just from a character standpoint, really well done. I think it was the longest episode of the bunch too. They really took their time. Yeah, and it was good. Just really kind of diving into things that are lost in this kind of situation. The things that you lose at the end of the world, and they did a really good job with that.
Dude, they did an excellent job with it. So for the people out there that have a problem with episode 3, just skip it and just be quiet. Like, literally. Like, I thought, like with Brad, I thought this was actually the most well done storytelling episode without the entire series, in my opinion. And plus, it does the important job of like, yeah, we're following Joel and Ellie for most of this, but what about the other side of humanity? Like, how are they handling with everything? And so I thought they did a great job, like taking a little breather from that main story to go on, like Brad's famous quote, the little side quest, man. And I freaking loved it, man. And the Ellie character, I thought the actress did a great job with Ellie. It took me a little bit to really invest into the Ellie character because I didn't like her very much at the beginning. But again, I think that was mainly like how they want you to build it. If as the episodes go on, like I love Ellie now, so Ellie's my girl.
I did a good job of just kind of breaking down the time change of how the world has changed since this thing took over, because at the end of the first episode we jump ahead 20 years, same as the game, and then this episode long time kind of breaks that down a little bit into smaller increments, 3, 5, 10 years and so forth and so on. So that was cool. And another just heartbreaking episode at the end of that, with both of them fucking dying, with the when the other dude was dying either way, and the other guy said, fuck it, I don't want to live without you, and they went off and did their thing. Very sad moment for sure, but this series is full of those moments. Every episode you're going to have something. So yeah, then they go to Kansas City, they have that whole deal there, all that stuff's well done. No, the chief thing. Yeah.
No, I'm just messing. I'm not going to do that here. But yeah, they go to freaking Kansas City, and then just when they think it's an empty town, dude, all hell breaks loose in this one as well. We get an evil like lady leader trying to hunt down these new trespassers of Joel and Ellie, and then we get introduced to guys like an older gentleman and a younger kid, but it turned out they were brothers to help Joel and Ellie escape the city of Kansas City.
I really enjoyed the setting in Kansas City. They did a really good job of setting that up. There's buildings falling over and stuff like that. They changed it. The game's actually in Philadelphia, but I guess for reasons for
Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, for whatever reasons, they moved it to Kansas City, and it works. It's fine. Yeah, when they meet those two people, obviously that ends in tragedy as well. The next episode, they end up fucking dying. The little kid gets infected, and they have to kill him. His brother does, and then his brother ends up killing himself after that. That was sad. That went on for a couple episodes.
They finally make it to Joel's brother's place after that.
Yeah, dude, up in Wyoming or wherever. That was cool. That was a good episode too. Joel's brother Tommy was the portrayal was really solid, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was really solid. I love the whole like atmosphere of the town, because she finally, like for the first time up to this series, it kind of felt like you're at peace. Like everything is peaceful. They're like, it felt like the world's not ending. Everybody's living in harmony that the best they can. And they also showed a good, kind of like a good, like again, the strong relationship between Joel and Ellie, because Ellie doesn't want to go anywhere without Joel, and they did a really good job. So it's kind of like, it's just showing the pain of Joel too, like everything he's experienced with his daughter and everything, because more of that, like of how he's been dealing with that, comes out. So again, really strong episode when it comes to character development between Ellie and Joel.
They went to the university. They made it there. That was their goal the whole time, was to get Ellie
to find the Fireflies.
Yeah, so she could be researched. Turns out there's really nobody there except for this one dude, this asshole that stabs Joel while they're there, right? So that
Lucky
was no
shot.
good. Yeah, that's what I said, man. That's what I said. You can't take Joel down. It's going to take more than an old prick to take out that old fart. But,
just a prick.
But dude, that sets up. So he gets stabbed. He's like basically losing consciousness. Ellie's trying to save his ass. Somehow drags him to the house. Like even though he's like freaking this big dude, whatever, adrenaline.
That and a horse. Like,
oh yeah, dude. She made it both ways, man. I don't know what was going on with all that, but she made it. They get to that house. She's trying to patch him up and stuff. And that sets up another good episode, man. The Left Behind episode, which was kind of a side another side thing. Whenever Joel is downstairs, bleeding out and shit, she's thinking back about her past, and how she came to be in this position, and going back to meet her girl Riley. This was another really strong character episode, building up Ellie. I think it was really well done from a standpoint of trying to understand why she is the way she is. Why she feels like she doesn't have anybody, because everybody she gets close to dies. And that's kind of what this whole episode was about. It was cool when they go into the old mall, they boot up all the lights and they're in there playing Mortal Kombat and stuff. It was cool, man. And I know some people had some issues with this episode because it kind of took away the momentum of the show, like it was going, and you're getting closer and closer to the finale, and then all of a sudden you go back and you do this whole side quest. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great episode, man.
Yeah, and plus you need those side quest episodes because, especially with this one with Ellie, you gotta why are you being invested into Ellie? So you need side quest episodes like that because it builds layers upon her character to make you care about her even more. Because she, not only like Joel, but Ellie went through some dark crap in this series too, especially what we're about to get into, man. So you need episodes like this to kind of set the tempo down a little bit before things get riled up. Riled up. So let's go ahead and get into it, man.
Yeah, they had this whole, they get the episode starts out or whatever, and they're at this camp, I guess they take these kids and they train them to be a part of their militia or whatever, the bad guys, I guess you could say, the new government for the United States. And so they're kind of at this camp or whatever, and they're doing their thing. Ellie's she keeps getting kicked out of the class and stuff for her attitude. And the instructor's like, hey, man, you want to be a leader? You want to be, a bum forever? And she's like, I want to be a leader. I'm like, okay, cool. Be back, tomorrow, and we'll tear it up. Again, you kind of just see that she has the ability to lead, and she's just not where her heart needs her to be. So that's kind of what that's setting up. And then throughout the episode, Riley comes in. She's like, oh, I've joined the Fireflies now and all this stuff like that. You should come with me. Let's go hang out. And you could tell they're old friends, but there's still a little bit of a tension there. Maybe they want to be more than friends. You can feel that the first time you see them together. There's just that little bit of tension there. And as the episode goes on, you kind of feel that a little bit more and more. And then at the end of the day, we find out that they love each other as well.
I feel like that's the same model. They take the same rinse and repeat cycle in this. They build. Yeah, they freaking hey, we're going to introduce these guys. You're going to love them. And then they're going to die.
That's really what it's all about. This whole thing is just about tragedy, man, and loss, and how you keep moving with that. I mean, it starts with that, with Joel, and every character we see has something happen. And Ellie's the same. And we find out that, so they have that moment where they kiss, and you could see Ellie's really getting kind of happy. You could see a moment of happiness in her at that point. And you could see that, she's with somebody she cares about, and, she doesn't really care about anything else. Then that one motherfucker in the mall, the dude that's been sleeping there for however many years, 20 years, it's like, it's time for me to wake up. He comes in there, wreaks a little havoc. And then we get this whole Romeo Juliet kind of thing. I don't know, man. He bites both girls. They both get bit. And they both like, do we kill ourselves or no? And he's like, nah, let's just enjoy our last moments together. And that's when we find out, well, we already knew, but that's when Ellie finds out that she's immune because her buddy over here gets freaking deader than shit. And then she's still good to go. She never turns to the dark side. And it was just
to the fungus side.
Yeah, to the fungus side. Yeah. Man, crazy shit. And then she had to kill her friend, essentially.
Yeah, which again, sad as crap, man. Because I can't be put in a position where if Brad got infected, what the hell would I would do? So it always brings that interesting question: what would you do in a situation like that? You really don't know until the occasion presents itself and all that. So yeah, along with that sad one, dude, let's go with the most sadistic thing I've ever seen in my entire life with these next two episodes. I believe next two episodes.
Yeah, dude, these last three were just fire, starting with this one. They were all fire, really. But the next one, Ellie's like, you know what? I'm going to fix Joel up. She goes out to get some medication, some antibiotics, if you will. And she runs into these two dudes out there. And you don't really know what to think of them at first. You don't know if they're, and if you play the game, but if you don't, you might be like, these guys, they might be okay, right? The one guy's
I got a creepy vibe when I first, especially that one Ellie talks to with the fire and all that. I'm like, no, I will not want to get near that guy. And damn it, I was right.
Yeah, you are right, man. He did a good job of kind of giving you that that creepy ass vibe, even though everything he was saying was pretty innocent, but you could tell something was kind of off. That was good. They're sitting there. She ends up kind of trusting him for a second, I guess. I mean, not really. She's holding him at gunpoint the whole time. The other guy runs off to get the meds, and he was going to come back. Yeah, man, all that played out well, but they end up freaking capturing her ass when he comes back. She gets outnumbered. They take her back to the compound there. And this guy's like this preacher, man. He's like a preacher. He's got this whole group of people behind him and stuff, and it's just like, you know, it's a weird kind of community. Like they're eating each other and shit, like it, but nobody knows. This guy's like chopping up meat and giving it to people, and they think they're eating fucking pork or whatever. I can't remember what they said.
Yeah, dude, like because at the beginning of the episode they were at like a funeral because this young girl's dad died, and we thought he, you know, died of natural causes of being sick and all that, but it was later revealed they fucking cut his ass up and fed him to the people. Like, okay, so not only did we deal with like a pastor leader, now we're dealing with a freaking like cannibalism. And now Brad, after Ellie freaking escapes, because Ellie was managed to escape, what is the, like, how could you even get worse than that, man?
This guy's a fucking pedophile, dude. Like at the end of the day,
I think things couldn't be worse.
Yeah, you're talking about this guy. So first off, when Ellie escapes and he swipes that freaking butcher knife in that guy's head, that was fantastic. The neck or whatever. She's badass. She freaking gets out of there, freaking tears that guy up. But yeah, this guy catches up with her, man. And he's like, man, he's straight up going to freaking assault her ass, man. Sexually, not good. This is bad. And this is weird because he's already been fucking weird. So like you said, you're like, this guy can't get any worse. And then he does. It doesn't, you know, get too crazy, the scene, thank goodness. It doesn't go too far with it.
In a flaming building of all places too. Like, what a way to like get after your urges, man.
Dude, for sure, man. Absolutely. Like, you're all going to burn up in there. Now, this scene though was fantastically, again, this is one of the few things I really remember from the video game, is creeping around this burning building, hiding behind tables, waiting on your moment to attack this guy as he's talking and doing all kinds of crazy shit. But dude, when she gets the moment to actually kill his ass, that one of my favorite moments, dude. She freaking lays into him, man. I know, dude. She's chopping into him. She's screaming. She's letting all that anger out from this creepy asshole. And we're all like, hell yeah, dude, get you some.
You could say there was no plot armor in this one.
Not for that guy, there wasn't. Hell no. He ain't coming back for season 2. No way.
Nope. But yeah, but she escapes from the flaming building, and that's when Joel, they reunite, and man, Ellie is one complete mess. Joel knows that she has gone through absolute hell, so they're reunited, and then we get to the, like, how can you even like top that particular episode when the season finale is next, man? Because you expect that. I was expecting that was going to be the season finale, but man, this show proved me wrong once again. Here we go, season finale.
Yeah, and I like that end too, when Joel runs into her in the street and she's still freaking out, like, you know, rightfully so, and Joel's like, I got you, you're good, I got you. That was just a good moment. But yeah, then the next episode jumps ahead. It seems like there's a little bit of a time gap there. Like, it's not immediately where it picks off, but it's not like it jumps ahead like a day or, you know, a week or anything. They finally make it to their goal base, the Firefly base, to get things rolling again, to get this research done, if you will, to save the world. They're there. They get attacked because, you know, the Fireflies didn't know who it was, so they threw their thing out. They take them both upstairs, and they're like, okay, here's what we're doing. It's cool. He's an old friend of mine. Okay, we're good. It's fine. It's all good. But yeah, that happens. But then Joel has this realization that in order for them to research Ellie, they're going to have to fucking pretty much kill her, because this fungus is in the brain, and they're going to have to fucking basically remove her brain, and she's going to be dead. So then he's like, nah, dude, I don't go that way. I don't do that. Yeah,
especially because at this point, man, that he's almost at this point having that same attachment to Ellie than he had with his own daughter, because that's been building up to this very point of his beliefs and all that, and just his connection to Ellie now. So what he does next, I'll be honest with you, I do not blame him. And so he, somewhere deep down in his freaking soul, he pulled out his freaking John Wickness, man, in this.
He does, dude. They're walking his ass out of the building. They were kicking him out so they could do the research. And like you said, this is a man that's not going to go through that same law. He lost his daughter 20 years ago. You killed my daughter and desecrated her body. Sorry, that's how one kills. No, 20 years ago, yeah, he lost his daughter, and he's not going to go through that again. He knows what it's like, and now he's developed this bond And it's a great arc because at the beginning of the season, you know, he didn't care about her at all. He's like, you're a package, you're property. I just got to deliver the package. I'm FedEx, I'm UPS, I'm an Amazon delivery driver, whatever I am, I'm delivering your ass in 2 days across the country for 2 days shipping. Not really. It didn't take, it took much longer than that. Towards the end, no, at this point now, he's willing to pick up his guns and slay an entire fucking base of fireflies to save this girl and pretty much say, hey, you know what, fuck the rest of the world, I'm keeping her. So that was that's the arc that we saw in him, and he does, man. He, like you said, John Wick, he takes those 2 dudes out, takes their guns, and he literally just goes through. It plays the theme song of the show, and he's walking through there and he's fucking slaying them all. And it wasn't like, you know, super action packed like John Wick, but he was that badass. He slayed them all, one man versus many. And it was well done. It pumps you up, it gets you jacked, ends up saving Ellie from the table, blowing away the doctor, all the fun stuff that you see in the game. I do think the end of the video game was a little bit better here. I mean, it's the same thing, but I just think the way it plays out in the game is a little bit more crazy. Because in the game, I don't think he actually kills everybody. I think he actually has to kind of sneak around and get her out. But either way, well done. Very good representation of how the game played out.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we get at the end too, where Ellie wakes up. It's like, is everything okay? It's like, yeah, we got ambushed. Like, mainly that he was the ambushee and all that. Like, we know, but she don't know. I love how, like, we know something that some of the other characters don't know. It'll play later. I'm sure it's going to play in a major effect in season 2 and all that. And then I'm kind of like with you, Brad, like how they ended this season finale was kind of random. As I, do you promise? And he goes, yeah, I promise. And then bam, it ends. Like, I thought that was kind of weird, kind of like a weird way to end it. But you know, it is what it is. But I don't have like a major complaint with it. It's just like a small nitpick.
That's the exact way the game ends. So I have no problems with that at all. That's the that's
never mind what I say. Screw what I say.
And what that does is that completes the arc of Joel. That's him at this point. He's already slayed a whole base of fireflies. Now he's got this girl that he loves as like a daughter now. And now he's going to just lie to her, and they're going to go. We'll see what happens. Because obviously she wanted, going into that facility, she wanted to sacrifice herself for the good of the world. She said that when they're at the zoo, or not the zoo, but there's a giraffe. I don't know where he came from, but either way,
hey, Dander, there's a giraffe.
So she's like, no matter what, we got to see this through. And he's like, okay, let's do it. You're the boss. But then it turns out he couldn't let that happen, and he's not going to tell her that. So yeah, I think the ending was perfect because it gives the character Joel a flaw. He just did all this and then he didn't even tell her about it. And I think that's the way relationships go. And I think that's a good way to kind of wrap things up and really drives his arc home. It does leave you asking questions, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, man, it absolutely does. And yeah, you could expect us to do season 2 when it freaking drops and everything. So don't worry about it. We'll continue this, man. But to kind of wrap this up in a nice little bow, Brad. Well, before I wrap it up in a nice bow, did you have any problems with this season?
Like you said, it did feel a little rinse repeat at times with the way they would introduce character, kill them off, introduce character, kill them off. When I think you could have cut out some of that. You honestly could have maybe shaved a couple episodes off this season and made it 6-7 episodes, something like that. I think it didn't have to do as much as it did, but overall, man, I really loved it. I think it was really well done, and really looking forward to seeing what they do next, and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and pretty much Brad just knocked it out of the park right there. That's pretty much my big negative to it. It's just the rinse and repeat cycle. It's a story of like, hey, introduce these people. Sad story, dead, done. You could switch it up a little bit. But again, I understand they were just following the basis of the game, but that's kind of like what I noticed. I was like, this is just the same thing, man. But for the characters that they represented with each of those stories, I thought it was terrific.
And a lot of people I know, not necessarily in the community here, but a lot of people that I've seen across the internet or, at work or whatever, they had issues with the fact, there's no zombies. We haven't seen any zombies since the first episode. Like, they don't really, but that's not what this show's about. This show's about the characters. It's just set in the apocalypse. That's not what it is about per se. It's about these stories and their connections and this arc with Joel. The setting is what it is. It's 20 years after the fact. This isn't the origin story of zombies. This isn't them trying to survive that. They already figured that out. At this point, they're trying to just move forward. And this is just a story about two people and their journey together. It has really nothing to do with zombies. That's just the setting. So I had no issue with that. at all. I really would rather see this good story and this good companionship continue to grow instead of seeing more zombies. I don't need that. I've seen that before.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that, man. Just because, like, we want to get introduced to the characters in the story before we really throw, like, fungus zombies at you. Which I'm going to assume, because, again, I don't know anything about the second game, that they're going to probably wrap that up even more with the fungus zombies. But you know what? We'll wait and find out. So, Brad, let's wrap it up in a nice little bow now. We can now do the bow. Overall thoughts and a rating.
Yeah, dude. Like I said, that's really my only problems with it. Overall, loved it. I'm going to give it 4.75 out of 5.
Hell yeah, dude. And I'm right there with you. Like, someone that's never played the game but is watching the show, loved the story, loved the characters. I thought they did everything for the most part great. The score was incredible. The visuals were absolutely stunning. So I cannot wait for season 2. But for season 1, again, with those little nitpicks that I had with it, it's just that one little negative. I'm going to go with Brad too. It's a 4.75 as well. So this is extremely high for our first series review for Welcome to Primetime, bitch.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big breaking TV. Welcome to Primetime, bitch.
Hell yeah. I like it, man. That's fun.
Yes,
Hopefully
sir.
next year, or when this comes out again, maybe we'll follow it episode by episode. We'll see. We'll see if there's any interested.
And guys, this might not be a spoiler alert or anything like that, but for the Real Horror Awards for next year, just don't be surprised that this freaking takes the cake.
Yeah, I don't know what else is going to compete with it, but we'll see.
What, You season 4? That's the only one I can think of. So
Yeah.
of all the years, so Last of Us, we'll go ahead and hand you the reward right now. But it's
yeah.
not up to us. It's decided by the fans. But speaking of our fans, man, guys, what did you all think about The Last of Us Season 1? Did you love it as much as we did, especially if you played the video game? Or if you're someone like me have never played the game and just experienced all of this for the first time ever? Did you really like it? Or did you really have some problems with it? In the comment section down below, let's get that discussion rolling.
Yep, and if you want to help us find us, the Good Reels, our socials are down below in the description. Patreon's down there. Take a gander, and you could vote on next month's Patreon video.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Patreon link and the YouTube memberships, all those links are in the description down below. Sign up for them as we can hear your thoughts about what you want to happen in the future of this channel. But until then, I think I smell some fungus, so I better get out of here, man. So I'll see you for the next one.
Peace out.